Marcus Aurelius, Biography and Quotes. Marcus Aurelius, 121–180, was once a Roman emperor from 161 to 180. He is viewed one of the 5 proper emperors and the remaining emperor of the duration acknowledged as Pax Romana, the age of relative peace in the Roman Empire. He is quality remembered for his Meditations, which is an exposition of Stoic philosophy. It consists of recommendation on how to stay purposefully and harmoniously inside the vaster universe. It additionally reminds us that dying is ever present, and we are but a small section of the higher universe. Although emperor, Marcus wished to keep away from the dictatorial dispositions of a Caesar, and he is frequently held up as a smart and simply ruler. The universe is change, our existence is what our ideas make it. Birth. Marcus Aurelius was once born in Rome on 26 April 121. He was once born in an effective and rich Roman household which had consolidated its political power. Emperor Hadrian selected his uncle Aurelius Antonius to be the next emperor, and Antonius dominated, 138–161. Antonius, in turn, selected 2 younger guys to prevail him. One used to be Lucius Verus, and the different one used to be Marcus Aurelius. Marcus used to be given a long training and studied Latin and Greek grammar beneath his strict instructor Fronto. He observed his best pastime was once in reading Greek Stoic philosophy. He mainly admired the philosophy of Epictetus, a former slave and main exponent of Stoic philosophy. His philosophy motivated simplicity, self-discipline, persistence and duty. This philosophy had a marked influence on Marcus Aurelius' personality and actions. It was once in distinction to the excesses of many Roman emperors such as Nero. Look properly into yourself, there is a supply of power which will usually spring up each time you seem there. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus additionally received a sensible political apprenticeship underneath Emperor Antonius, and in 145 he married Annia Galeria Faustina, who used to be the daughter of the emperor. After this, Antonius introduced Marcus carefully into his circle of advisors and he grew to be nicely acquainted with the selections and plans of the emperor. Marcus rose in political prominence. He served as consul 3 instances, in 140, 145 and 161. In 147, he was once given tribunician strength and authority over the military and provinces of the emperor. Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Co-emperors. Co-emperors Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus. On 7 March 161 Antonius died. Marcus oversaw an orderly transition with each himself and his youthful adoptive brother Lucius Verus turning into co-emperor. The Senate would have been glad to verify Marcus alone, however he insisted the Senate verify each himself and Lucius. Marcus had a plenty higher strength base than Lucius, so if he had been power-hungry, he may want to have deposed of his brother and dominated alone. But, Aurelius felt a duty to fulfill the needs of the preceding emperor and he was once pleased to share the burden of ruling with Lucius. They persisted many of the reforms and insurance policies of the preceding emperors. This blanketed some revolutionary reforms of decreasing harsh components of civil regulation and enhancing the claims of blood spouse and children in inheritance. Marcus took his duty to act as judicial arbiter seriously. He heard many instances and replied to them with a cautious grasp of the law. He was once sympathetic to the freedom of slaves and the plight of orphans. The reign of Marcus and Lucius was once especially popular. It helped that Marcus Aurelius used to be an gorgeous orator, he showed attraction to the people's sympathies and displayed first-rate political tact. He replied to emergencies, such as the Tiber flooding at Spanx in 161, and the earthquake at Cyzicus with the aid of for my part touring the scenes and imparting resource to the people. Marcus was once extensively viewed as smart ruler. He himself sought to keep away from the hedonism and selfishness of different Roman rulers. His meditations supply and perception into the variety of ruler he wished to be. Take heed now not to be changed into a Caesar, now not to be dipped in the crimson dye, for it does happen. Keep yourself therefore, simple, good, pure, grave, unaffected, the body of justice, religious, kind, affectionate, sturdy for your suitable work. Wrestle to be the man philosophy wished to make you. Reverence the gods, store men. Life is brief, there is however one harvest of earthly existence, a holy disposition and neighborly acts. Meditations vi. 30. During their duration of rule, they allowed free speech. The comedy author Aurelius used to be capable to satirize the new emperors except penalty. They commonly rejected ostentation and immoderate shows of ceremony and wealth and made provisions for bad children. Marcus additionally had desirable family members with the Senate. As emperor he ought to act as dictator, however he often requested the Senate for permission to spend greater cash, reviving the days of the Republic. However, his rule was once now not all progressive. His reforms had been solely piecemeal, and some trends led to an extra regressive direction. During his rule, there was once a new social division of crook punishment with the improvement of two lessons of humans: honestiers and humiliars. Honestiers had been greater social training who have been spared the greater humiliating kinds of punishment. During the time of Marcus Aurelius, Christians had been persecuted at an growing rate. The legitimate coverage was once that practicing Christianity was once an offense, however the neighborhood authorities had been no longer inspired to are searching for out Christians. However, in instances of crisis, Christians had been regularly blamed for misfortune, and they had been made into scapegoats. The duty for prosecuting Christians fell to neighborhood officials. It is now not clear the extent to which Marcus approved, disapproved or felt powerless to act in these nearby prosecutions. Marco_Aurelio_ During the duration 160–170, Rome used to be embroiled in border wars towards difficult neighbors. This covered invasions from the Parthians in the east and Gallic tribes invading northern Italy. Marcus and the Roman military have been capable to preserve off the invaders, however the campaigns have been costly, and the Roman humans grew to become conscious that the as soon as would possibly Roman Empire was once turning into greater stretched financially and no longer pretty the all-powerful electricity of former years. Marcus devalued the share of silver in Roman cash to strive and preserve up with rising costs. Returning Roman troops additionally added return to lethal plague which unfolded for the duration of Rome and surrounding town for countless years. The plague contributed to an experience of loss of invincibility, morale amongst each the human beings, and the military fell. Marcus Aurelius strove to make stronger the Roman Empire in the course of these difficult times. In 169, his co-emperor Lucius Verus died, leaving Marcus Aurelius as sole emperor. Marcus persevered his border wars, ultimately subduing the northern tribes. Wife and children. His spouse Faustina gave start to 13 children, even though countless died at an early age. He used to be survived with the aid of one son and 4 daughters. He nominated his son Commodus to be the subsequent emperor when he used to be 16. Commodus dominated from 161 to 192. However, his reign marked a decline in Roman fortunes as he rejected his father's insurance policies and philosophy, and grew to be an increasing number of dictatorial and brutal. Meditations. Throughout his lifetime, Marcus wrote philosophic thoughts, which had been accumulated into an e-book known as Meditations. These meditations have been extensively examined and have cemented his popularity as a philosopher king. In many ways, Aurelius used to be influenced by way of the Stoic philosophers, and so his meditations provide a suitable appreciation of current Stoic philosophy. He additionally took concept from Plato, Democritus, Euripides, Heraclitus, and Plato. Though many of his thoughts had been now not unique, it would be unfair to see the meditations as solely a regurgitation of different philosophers. They additionally divulge in perception into his character and outlook on life. They illustrate his try to are seeking for standpoint on the fluctuations of earthly existence and preserve an internal calm amidst the turmoil and fleeting nature of life. Remember that man lives solely in the present, in this fleeting instant, all the relaxation of his lifestyles is both previous and gone, or no longer but revealed. Short, therefore, is man's life, and slim is the corner of the earth whereby he dwells. Meditations, 3:10. Religion. The Meditations provide an perception into the spiritual beliefs of Marcus. It suggests a deist-like faith in a common electricity and harmony. Constantly regard the universe as one residing being, having one substance and one soul, and have a look at how all matters have reference to one perception, the understanding of this one residing being, and how all matters act with one movement, and how all matters are the cooperating motives of all matters which exist. Examine too the non-stop spinning of the thread and the contexture of the web. 4:40. He additionally believed in destiny and a regulation of predestination, although he nevertheless believed persons must try to stay with the aristocracy and energy of character. Whatever may additionally occur to thee, it used to be organized for thee from all eternity, and the implication of motives used to be from eternity spinning the thread of thy being, and of that which is incident to it. X. 5. Marcus suggests the position of philosophy is to achieve independence over your personal feelings and passions. The idea is the ruler of the soul. It have to stay unstirred by using agitations of the flesh, gentle and violent ones alike, not mingling with them, however, fencing itself off and retaining these emotions in their place. When they make their way into our thoughts, via the sympathetic hyperlink between idea and body, don't attempt to withstand the sensation. The sensation is natural. But don't let the thought begin in with judgments, calling it good or bad. Death. Marcus died at the age of 58 on 17th of March 180 in Vindobona, modern Vienna. The cause given for his demise used to be herbal causes. He was once deified, and his ashes back to Rome. A column celebrating his navy success in Europe was once constructed in Rome. He was once already considered as a philosopher king, and his popularity was once helped by using later Christians who seen his rule favorably in contrast to different rulers. His meditations survived, in particular in the Eastern Church, and went on to end up one of the most well-known and influential writings in philosophy.